then what would be a word in Chinese language? What is a word, though?
In Chinese, a word can be a single character, like ren, person, or a combination of characters that together form a meaningful unit, like pengyou, friend. A word in Chinese serves the same function as in other languages. It represents a concept or an object. The difference is that Chinese words might be formed by one or more characters, each contributing to the meaning.
But then in the word 朋友, 朋 is not a word, is it? 友 is not a word either. Do they have meanings?
Yes, peng and yo both have individual meanings. Peng originally means friend or companion, and yo also means friend. When combined, they reinforce each other to form the word pengyo, which means friend. Individually, they can appear in other contexts, but are most commonly known together as friend.
I know, but 朋, if 朋 is not a word, it's just Chinese character, but it has the meaning of friend. That's not very easy to understand, is it?
It can be a bit tricky. In Chinese, some characters have standalone meanings, but are rarely used alone as words in modern language. Peng and yo each carry the concept of friend, but they are most commonly used together to form the word pengyo. This is an example of how Chinese characters can combine to create specific meanings.
So, if I had to compare a Chinese character with an English word, can I make a theory that the Chinese character is more flexible? Definitely, right? Because it's smaller than a word, but much bigger than a letter, right? It's sometimes a word, but it's more like a small word, like the word take or to have. Those words that's commonly used has the multiple meanings, can be used to describe different things or contain slightly different meanings in different contexts. Would that be an accurate, description of it?
Yes, that's a fair comparison. Chinese characters are indeed more flexible in that they can represent a concept or part of a word. They often carry multiple meanings depending on context, much like certain English words. This makes them versatile and rich in meaning, allowing them to be used in various combinations to express different ideas. Your description of them as small words with multiple meanings is quite accurate.
Okay, interesting. I often make this analogy, which is not really academic. It's again more of a literature. Just a theory. Is that if language affects people so much, it is possible that the language Chinese people are using more similar to the characteristics of Chinese people. Like, for example, it is possible that a Chinese character is more like a Chinese person in a society, and the rule of the language is more like the rule of China, comparing with that of the English language or a society that using English language. Would you agree?
It's an interesting analogy. Language and culture are deeply intertwined, and it's possible that the structure of a language reflects certain cultural traits. Chinese characters, with their emphasis on context and combination, might mirror the value placed on community and harmony in Chinese culture. Meanwhile, the more modular nature of alphabetic languages might reflect individualism and flexibility. While it's a poetic comparison, it underscores how language can offer insights into the values and social structures of its speakers.
Yeah, if you think about it, in the most Western countries, um, especially English-speaking countries, the law is quite important. It's a sort of a Western country characteristic, comparing with the Chinese culture. The law, which is the rule, right? And if you put it in language, that would be the grammar. And the grammar is much more strict in English language, if you think about it, than in Chinese language, where the grammar is more revolve around uh, the individual words. Like, words are more powerful in a way to change the culture or the way to express meanings. Would you agree with me on that one?
That's an interesting perspective. English grammar does tend to be more rigid, emphasizing rules and structure, which can reflect the value placed on law and order in Western cultures. In contrast, Chinese places significant importance on context and individual characters, which might reflect a more fluid approach to meaning and expression. This flexibility could mirror the emphasis on relationships and situational context in Chinese culture. It's a thoughtful analogy, highlighting how language structure might parallel cultural values.
Interesting. Thanks very much for your feedback, and we will keep exploring the concept of Chinese character and how what is it and what does it do from different perspectives, asking different questions, and then you can help me to run my thoughts by you, see if they are, have some sense or not. Thank you very much. Bye. What? You're too slow.
I'm here to help anytime. Feel free to reach out whenever you need.